It is possible Pete Buttigieg could become president of the United States. It is impossible he could become governor of Indiana. This is, in general, an issue, I think, of the heavy polarization happening in the states, where you just didn't used to have two things happen. And again, like this is sort of what my first book is about. The states used to be much more mixed. And the bigger thing is they swung back and forth much more. So the variance election to election in a state used to be, I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but it used to be more than 10 points. It would be very plausible for a state to swing in one direction or another, 10, 20 points from one presidential to the next. That just reflected there being a ton of swing voters and fairly weak party attachments. So being a Democrat in like 1965 actually didn't tell you that much about whether or not that person would vote for Democrats or Republicans. Today, if you're a Democrat, you don't vote for Republicans and vice versa. The other thing is, so states then, now they have incredibly narrow variance election to election. It's like 2 points. And the reason I bring that up is that it is meant that as like the states become highly polarized, there just isn't competition because Democrats just will not vote for a Republican and Republicans just will not vote for a Democrat. And what that also ends up meaning is you have relatively few states where you can get talent that is good at appealing to a moderate constituency or good at appealing to the other side. I mean, you get a couple places where you have it. Republican governors winning in Massachusetts, somebody like Andy Beshear in Kentucky. But it's a huge problem. And I don't think we've really come up with an answer. You can come up with ways of restructuring like districts and so on to try to make them more competitive. But then you run into the same reason it's very, very hard to get gerrymandering changed because ultimately the parties want to hold on to control. So the fact that you are having a situation where so much of the talent for the Democratic Party is coming in a couple extremely blue states and so much for the Republican Party is coming in a couple of extremely red states is actually a really big problem. And it's not how things used to work because it just used to be the case that even if you were a Democrat in a blue state, you were appealing to voters who might vote for a Republican. And even if you're a Republican in a red state, you're appealing to voters who might vote for a Democrat. And so you learned habits of that